Alright everyone, with a few minutes to go, let's already get to the first map that will be played. Hello to the few guys that are already here. What's up, French Potato? Alright, so we have a big island first map. Just gonna inform the players. And they will PM me their civilizations. And while we wait for them to pick their civilizations, let's take a look at the brackets. Because we do have Zerton facing off against Recon in the grand finals of this tournament. And they actually played once before, as you can see in the semi-finals of the winners bracket. They had a very close series. It was a best of 5 and Zerton won 3-2. And because...
Behold the chosen one.
Oh, Juglukum, thanks for the follow. Because Zerton won that, if he loses this series, there will be another series played. So right now we're playing a best of 7, and in case Recon wins, he will have to win another best of 7. So that is the advantage you get from playing this series from the winners bracket, because Recon was knocked to the losers bracket and after that managed to keep winning. So that's where we are at right now. Let's remove this again. Put up our donations. Thanks a lot to all these guys for making the next tournament possible. So the current tournament was financed mostly by Radar and by Lambda Viking. So thanks a lot to those guys. French Potato has asked who is commentating. My name is Viri Wout. I'm sure you guys know who I am. Been playing this game for almost 8 years now. Played in the closed beta. And there may be a little surprise in terms of a co-caster as the series progresses. Right, so I'm still waiting for the civilizations of both players. So Recon and Zerton, both very talented players. They've played a couple of other games as well, RTSs, and they always perform really well. There was this one game, 8-Bit Armies, where they were two of the best players, and half of the community thought that Zerton was the best player and the other half thought that Recon was the best player. So these guys, they've played each other a lot in different games. I see lots of new guys in the chat. It's really really good to see you all. VN Power. Are you from Portugal, man? Playing some PvP as well. It's really brave of you. So let's switch to some in-game music. Which unfortunately does stop when I Alt-tab. So Certain needs one more minute and then we can get started on Big Island. What's up, Sahib, in the chat? Nice to see you there. I also see Yam Striker in the chat. Oh, by the way, let me know if you think the sound balance is okay. We've tested it a little bit, but it can always be a bit different on your end. There's a lot of Portuguese players, Bawa. For instance, do you know Iri? One of the best players in this game. He's from Portugal himself. Maybe he can give you some pointers. I play some other games with Iri as well, and he's really good at leadership sometimes. So we're still waiting for Certain to get ready. Some mental preparation going on, I'm sure. Because we are playing for a lot of money. I mean, let me link the brackets in the chat for you. Actually, there's a 2-minute delay on the stream, so it will be in the chat 2 minutes ago. If you take a look at the brackets, you can see that the first place will get $157, whilst the second place will get 112. Hello, Pospi, Isidor. Lots of new names here. Good to see you all, guys. I really feel like the Age of Empires online community is getting is growing a bit again. Alright, so here we are. Game 1. Big Island. We have Certain in the blue. He's playing the Persian civilization and it looks like he's going for an early duck. On the other hand, we have Recon who's actually picking Norse, which is an interesting pick. So far in the tournament we've seen Norse being picked near the end of a series, but now for the very first game he's going for Norse. And I'm actually gonna call a restart on this. Because sometimes on this map the wood line spawns a bit bad. So I'm sorry for that. Yeah, so that's one thing to look out for this map. So I can decide to restart the game whenever I want, and both players also have one restart per game. There we go. This time it's a lot better in terms of. Oh my god, I did it too wrong. I got the names the wrong way around, so the colors will be wrong, but we got the good spawn, that's what matters. Alright, so as I said, we have Zerton playing Persia and Recon going for Norse. And the Norse civilization has become kind of a meme this tournament, because at the very start of the tournament, actually almost halfway through the tournament, Norse never lost a series. Like now that we are a bit further, we have seen some Norse losses, but they have been performing very well. It's also quite a controversial civilization. Some people think they are really bad, other people think they are overpowered and really good. So this time we did have a good spawn. Both players had a wood line close to their town center, and actually one towards the coast and one towards the mainland, and Zerton decides to go for the one at the coast, whilst Recon picked his wood line near the mainland. So one downside to this for Zerton is that maybe if later on some boats appear next to the coast, they can shoot his villagers. On the other hand, it will be a bit more safe from raids. So Zerton going for an early duck. He did the same strategy as the game we restarted, sending his first 3 villagers over to the duck. You do start with 200 wood, so you can afford both a storehouse on wood and a duck. He's already got a fishing boat out, so Recon is also going for this duck. However, he's making it a lot later. He is gathering from hunts, so these villagers from Zerton are fishing, and if you look at the stats, the fish gatherer rate is 1.0. Actually, it's not. Oh, there it is, 1.0. Whilst for hunts, it's 1.3. So kind of a different approach to playing this. I'm kind of liking Zerton's strategy a bit more. He already has the 2 fishing boats out, making a 3rd one, whilst for Recon, his first one is about to pop out just now. So no early rushes so far. Zerton taking a hunt. Let me. Alright. So no early barracks or anything from both players. This is a very large map, so we rarely see some early aggression. I see Trolurcules in the chat saying great admin decision. Thanks, man. But yeah, that was a pretty obvious one, I think. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So I'm sure most of you guys have seen the tournament so far, and you've seen Recon, and you've seen Zerton. So who do you think will win this series? Who are you rooting for? So let's press 1 in the chat for Zerton, press 2 in the chat for Recon. I'll do it myself as well. Right, so even though we saw this quite economic opening with fast docks for both players, right now we see that Zerton is not going for stone, so he's not looking to build a fast town center. No, instead he's building up stables, and he may even go for a galley, though he's not gathering gold right now. So if we take a look at his vision, he did scout the dock for Recon. He does not know that Recon is building a storehouse on stone though. So Recon is going for the stone. He's looking to make a... Wait. Recon is actually building a forward barracks. I completely missed this. So you can build with your scout, so Recon actually playing a bit more aggressive than I thought. So he is gathering stone, but this stone then must be for towers. And he is building spearmen, which are a direct counter to the Asabara that will come outside of these stables. However, we did just see certain scouts pass by, so this is Zertan's vision and he does know about this. And very interesting, the second military building for Recon will be an archery range. In the meantime, Zertan got up a second dock, so he's gonna get his water economy booming. 4 fishing ships right now. Recon also has 4. There's one Asabara, but it cannot really engage into the spearmen. So maybe it's just gonna go around, maybe find some hunting villagers. He did scout this storehouse. So range Rex for Recon, and Zertan making 2 archery ranges. Let's see, did he scout some more? He did not. So let's see, where did this Asabara go? Just going back. So if you're making skirmishers at north, you need to make sure that they are hitting the archers, because they have a very large multiplier against ranged units, but they have very low base DPS, so they will not do a lot of damage against like an Asabara. So it's for this reason that we don't often see Norse players make an archery range this early on. However, Recon does feel confident in his ability to micro them, and it's, I think, quite nice for him that Zertan made 2 archery ranges. Zertan did scout around a little bit more. He does know about the archery range right now. He's just sending this Asabara to scout around. And look at this, we also see a long shipping queue for Recon. So he's also going to look for pressuring the water. Does he know about the second dock? He does not. So this long ship is crossing the map, and at the same time Recon is pushing in. And I don't think that Zertan can engage these spearmen. He does have a few bowmen back. He does not have A-10 yet, which is a really important defensive technology for the Persian civilization to get. So Recon already has 250 stone banked. He's not making a tower yet. Instead, he's just gonna chip away at this archery range, which is going down really fast. However, the archers did get here. And there we go. We see him microing skirmishers onto the bowmen. He's not taking them too far. So skirmishers, they did get a slight buff to their range, so that they now have 20 range a few months ago. It looks like he's microing all the slingers, all the skirmishers on one bowman. And in the meantime, this longship is hitting the fishing boats. Tower is going up. But so far Zertan is defending really well. He got A-10. He does not have any infantry though. Look how well he's positioning his bowmen behind the buildings. The only way that Recon can reach this is by using his skirmishers. He's actually going to build an archery range right here. And this longship is doing work, man. There's no response at all by Zertan on the water. Not sure if he even knows at this point that there's also this water is also being contested. He is gathering some stone at the same time. I should keep my eye on the mini-map. So lots of fishing boats going down for Recon, for Zertan, who is now at 33 villagers to the 36 for Recon. So Recon doing some damage. And look at this. Certain did make a barracks, and he's adding a third archery range. One tower did go up. The second one going up. And well, lucky for Certain, his gold spawned on the backside, so his gold is not yet contested. His bowman ball is growing bigger now. He already has 19. There's only 4 skirmishers on the side of Recon. He is using his tower to shoot at these bowmen, which is something you have to do manually. These towers will hit the closest unit, so you have to click the tower and then shift click them on the bowman. So that's some really nice micro by Recon we see. However, actually he's still ahead in population. He does have his stables right now as well, so we have some raiders on the field which will also help to counter these bowmen. And these towers are going up. And suddenly Recon is pulling ahead in the population. Whatever happened to this longship? The fishing ships are idle. I think Certain has a wood problem. He's sending over all his wood villagers because this longship is denying his wood. These guard towers are denying his wood on the other side. Where are they going to hunt? 12 villagers idle. There's so much going on at the same time. I don't feel that Certain can quite keep up right now. There's also a raid going on. I'm not keeping up myself. There's also a raid going on this side. Okay, just quickly check the minimap to see if I'm not missing anything else. And if you look at the population, Recon is just pulling ahead. And these villagers are still idle. This is so huge. I mean, villagers gather at 1 resource per second. So that's 12 resources per second if you idle 12 villagers. And they have been idle for like 30 seconds, so that's 600 resources. That's so many units. Okay, so Certain forced to get wood here. We have 20 skirmishers being microed right now. And there are some more spearmen in the back. Look at these skirmishers going in. This takes so much APM to do. Like some of the skirmishers are hitting the Sabara, but overall very nice multi-pronged attack by Recon. Killing the entire fish economy of Certain and denying him woods, which ultimately led Certain to go for this desperation attempt and cut wood here. So extremely well played. So before we analyze the post-game stats, let's go. Actually, I need to change the score as well. I'm recently using the studio mode of OBS, thanks to Adne, who taught me that you can actually change the score and then go to the next scene, which is quite useful. So let's get the wheel out. Spin the wheel. Let's turn off the sound for that. Alright, so we spent Oasis. Alright. Need to change the score here as well. So I'm just gonna do it like this. Don't mind the colors right now. I wanted to put Recon on red, so it's hold on, I'm having some OBS struggles. There we go. It's all centered. Alright. While the players are discussing the game, let's take a look at these stats. So looking at the villager count, we saw Certain, who did get his fishing economy going up a little bit early, so he was a little bit ahead of villagers at the start. Another player going for town center, so villager numbers are relatively low compared to what we are used to, which are fast town centers and lots of villagers being made. So we see here that actually, well, obviously Certain lost some villagers, but Recon actually not keeping his villager production quite up, unless I missed some raids, but I don't think I did. Kind of slipping in his own macro to get this rush off, which was very successful. If you look at the current military, Recon just building a lot more military. However, as I always say, because there's cavalry on the field and Asabara do count as 2 population, and they will only show up as 1 unit here, we have to take that into account, and that's why Zertan's units seem a bit low here, but there are cav units, so we just see Recon pumping out a large army, and it's really nice execution. I really like the skirmishers being used so effectively. We haven't seen that so much this tournament. It was really good. Let's take a look at the idle villagers. And this is what I was talking about for Zertan, those 12 idle villagers for a good 30 seconds. And I'm sure that Recon will have gathered more resources. I actually see quite a substantial difference. 2.6k more resources gathered by Recon in such a short game, which is really significant. Both players only getting 4 tags. Recon did make a lot more units, but then again there's the cavalry units. And if we take a look at the units killed and units lost, which will also be a bit skewed because of the cavalry, it's actually quite equal, but well, the position where they were fighting was just great for Recon. Thanks for the follow, Spazza Trunks. Let's see what else is there to say. Yeah, so if you look at the current resources, you can kind of get an impression of how good these players are spending their resources. Ideally, you want them to be super low, so every single resource that you have incoming, you are spending. So you don't have a big bank, you have a big army. And looks like Recon kind of had a little bit too much wood at some point, but overall they're keeping their resource below 500, which is pretty hard to do, I can tell from experience. Actually, Recon. Let's transition back to here. Right, I do have both civilizations for let's get into this next game. Popsy hype. So Recon used this North civilization, certainly use Persia. Next map will be Oasis. And this time I did get the colors right. I had one job. Alright, so we have a Celt against Celt on Oasis. So we've seen a few of these before. Celt, of course, being a very aggressive civilization, and I'm predicting long swordsman wars with lots of raids, and it's going to be really hard for me to keep track of every raid, so I apologize beforehand if I miss any. So this is actually already quite interesting. We see Zertan sending his starting villagers over to wood and going for about the fastest barracks you can get in the game. He is making it only with one villager. You could commit even a second villager to building that. So he's gonna get a fast barracks, some spears in Recon's face. Recon actually making 2 storehouses. Doesn't look like he's going for a barracks at all yet. He does only have the 3 on foot, and he's getting... I think he will make a late barracks. So a very different approach to playing this, which kind of resembles the player styles, I would say. Zerton is historically quite an aggressive player, and especially recently I've seen him play some games, like he played a best of 5 against Anxiety yesterday. I played one game against him yesterday as well, and he's playing more aggressive than ever. So as I said, Recon just building this very late barracks. And I think Zerton scouted that it was pretty late. He did, so nice scouting by him. Recon scouted here in the back of Zerton's base. He already passed by Zerton's base and scouted the barracks, which is all he needs to know for now. So interestingly, because Zerton did not send them over, his spearmen over initially, I feel there may have been a small window where he could have done something, maybe, with his first spearman. But because he is not pushing right now, it's actually better for Recon, because he went for the more efficient gathering, building storehouses right next to the resources, and not like Zerton was doing, gathering a bit further away. So it is slightly more economic build for Recon. Actually working. And we see Zerton is still making spears, whilst Recon only made 2, and he's already going H2. He's making a 3rd one right now, so he will be down in the spear count by a lot. Meanwhile, Zerton took a 2nd hunt, because you will need a lot of food. You kind of need 2 hunts, so let's see. Recon does not have a 2nd hunt yet. And as you can see, this is the last deer on this patch. He's actually gonna go for berries. There's a hunt right here. He does have 4 cows. Also 4 cows for Zerton, who is sending his 6 spearmen over on the map right now. Before this happens, let's remove the chat hider. Alright. So these spearmen going for the hunt, but it's already gone. There's already long swordsmen out in the field. These spears are actually killing the 2nd hunt. We do see the scout for Zerton there. 2 long swordsmen. I don't think Zerton wants to take that fight even. He's gonna run away, but there is a small squad waiting for him. And he cannot take this fight against long swordsmen who are a hard counter to infantry. So one spear getting caught, the other one's taking a bit of damage. Look at how much damage one long swordsman does to a spearman. So Zerton does not know about this forward storehouse yet by Recon. Oh, Recon not making villagers right now. He needs to make some villagers. He's also not getting handsaw, which Zerton already has, so his strategy is working out fine, but he was also dropping some villagers last game. I hope he can keep up the villager production. It takes a lot of your attention to focus on everything at the same time. So of course Oasis, everything revolves around the middle pond. All the resources are around here. So that's why it's so important to take control of this pond and win the game that way. So we do have this dock, which is already up for Recon. He cannot afford a swan ship right now. Both army sizes are looking quite equal. 7. Ooh. Zerton kind of slipping up there. Does have a smaller army as well. And Recon is already building a swan ship. He sees the dock. He knows he has an advantage that his boat will be out faster. Zerton is nowhere near being able to afford a swan ship, so it's looking like Recon. We just need to pay attention with his units there. It looks like Recon is going to be able to secure the pond. Zerton actually committing a villager to repairing this. And now he can afford a swan ship, and he is queuing that up, but there's already a swan ship out for Zerton, for a Recon. So Zerton cannot stay here with his army. This one ship deals area damage, so one shot in the middle of those infantry units and a few may die already. So very nice taking over the water for Recon. He's building a fishing ship right now, and at this point players may think about getting a second town center. Yes, there we go. Recon is going for a town center. He's also making fishing boats. Zerton is not going on stone yet at all. Oh wow, Recon catching Zerton's army. How the hell did he find that? Where's the scout? The scout is, I guess, just really lucky sending out his army. He does have 17 longswordsmen. There's only 10 here for Zerton. So Recon is sending all his reinforcements to right there, so there will be a new force for Zerton building up here. No, it's only four longswordsmen. So these are escaping. No storehouse on the stone mine. No handsaw yet as well. Let's take a look at the villager count. 29 for Recon to the 28 for Zerton. Wait, I'm hearing some battle. Yeah. So Zerton did send over some more longswordsmen to deny this hunt. The villagers escaped to the north. This army looks like it will be escaping as well. It's gonna be so hard to pay attention to this. I'm gonna hotkey some units so I don't lose track of them. Okay. Everything is set up. Okay, these units are coming back. This army is gonna get reinforced while the main army for Recon is pushing here. So Recon noticing it, and he can't fight the larger army, so he's running away. Very nice. Zerton saving the lower HP longswordsmen. So these villagers once again have to run. However, Recon is here with a big force, but at this point 21 longswordsmen against 17. Oh, and look at this. Zerton already getting an armory up, whilst Recon got the resources for town center. There is a small gap now in this wood line, so these units can get in there. And this town center is a bit exposed, but I don't think Zerton will be able to deny anything like that. So Zerton is going for stone right now. He's not getting his armory upgrade quite yet. These units are being cleaned up. The main army for Recon did return to his base. So he is sending his main army to just defend his base. Little does he know that Zerton's army is over here, and Zerton has druids in his army. So he does have the Sacred Grove. So because he is not going for a faster town center, he's able to get a bigger army. Well, right now he's getting more upgrades and a different type of army. Ooh, he's running his army all the way to Recon's army. Recon got a lot of free hits there. In the meantime, Recon chasing away the army in the north. Where did the druids go for Zerton? But I'm hearing druids. There's no druids here. Okay, there's druids somewhere on the map. Oh, here they are. Apparently he sent them back. Maybe he's prioritizing the speed. Oh, and very nice. Zerton realizes that he actually has the larger numbers right now, so he can take that fight. Recon building a wall right here, sending over another army. There's armies everywhere. Okay, so we did see that town center go up for Zerton. Look at that amazing reaction speed by Recon. I don't think he lost a single villager to a raid yet. I mean, such a talented RTS player. He has about... I don't think he can defend with this, because there are druids here. And then, well, druids are so important. Meanwhile, Zerton is raiding the berries, and there are the first few villager deaths. Committing only 3 more to chase that. Looks like it will be the boat that has to defend these villagers. So we can kind of slipping up, losing some villagers. He's sitting at 48 now to the 44 of Zerton. So even though Recon has 2 fishing boats, had town center earlier, Zerton is able to keep up in the villager count. Zerton is now getting his first armory upgrade as well, which is going to be melee attack. Of course, it will be only melee upgrades because these are only melee units. So then the question is, what is better? Is it melee attack or defense? What do you guys in the chat think? What's better to get? Do you want 20% more armor or should you get 20% more damage? He is going for damage right now, so his units will have 20% more damage. Alright, so Recon also got his army, he's also going for damage. So the army sizes are getting quite big right now, but Recon is sitting at 130 population to only the 110 population for Zerton. So it's probably a combination of him having a few more villagers, as well as getting some really nice trades. I mean, look at this guy, he's just... You can't catch him off guard at all. He's making walls, which is just so important when you're playing against Zerton, which, as I said, is just so aggressive. So the first armory upgrade for Recon is done. He's getting a second one as well. Zerton is not getting it right now, so these armies are once again equal in strength. This is being cleaned up. Okay, so right now Recon is in town center range of Zerton, and in this situation it's really important to use your town center and to click it on the druids. So there's only two druids here. If they die, they can no longer heal the army in combat. They will not apply the DPS buff anymore. So Recon's saving them outside of the town center range, but once he is forced to push in, we should see Zerton microing his town center on there. So that second upgrade for Recon did finish. So his units are actually stronger now as well. He is up 40 population. The druids are not being targeted yet. Does he even know about this town center? He does not know about the town center, which is actually really lucky for Zerton. If he knew about it, he can just feel like it's probably easier to push in there. Ooh, that one long swordsman walked awfully close there, and he did spot it. Okay, 40 long swordsmen for Zerton to the 49 for Recon. So Zerton is looking here. I'm looking for the... Yeah, one druid already going down. So this one should go down soon. So ideally you want to kill the druids first, but there's just too many units to do that. The town center will go down. Okay, so Zerton has to send his force over to defend here. Oh my god, all these villagers are going down as well. Oh my god, 49 left to the 58 of Recon, so Zerton is just gonna tap out after that. Wow. That was incredible. Okay, 2-0 for Recon. Let's put this on again. Let's change the score here. So before anything, let's do the wheel again so the players already know the map, and then we can go to analyzing the game a bit more. So game 3 will be played on Oasis again. Oh, it was really close to going to Sheltered Pass. Alright. Let's fix this. Okay. So, pretty quick game again. Oh my god, I missed a raid on the bottom side as well. So Recon even at 12 long swordsmen left and was pressuring the back gold, and I guess that's why Zerton's army was going back. So at the start we saw some different approaches. Zerton making a really fast barracks, but not really pressuring with his spearmen. He was waiting until he had about 6. Recon instead going for 2 storehouses and quite a late barracks. I mean, you can also make one storehouse and then gather from the wood next to the one storehouse. But instead he spent 100 wood on 2 storehouses, which is, yeah, especially on this really small map, quite an economic play. But he was able to get to H2 really fast, and from that point onwards just mainly defending, I would say. He did push in a few times, but he just did a really good job at defending Zertan's raids. Was able to get the population lead and just work with his larger army. Was also going to H3 behind this. This guy is just a beast, man. So we are playing a best of 7, so the winner has to win 4 games. So let's take a look at these stats. So in terms of villager count, really equal. We see a small increase here at the 6-minute mark, which is when Recon got 1 fishing boat and was a bit ahead. And then later on, at the 9-minute mark, his curve goes a bit steeper because he did have the second town center. However, yeah, Zertan was able to kill a few villagers. And interesting, again, at the end, Recon not making any more villagers. He's just prioritizing army, which maybe is not even that bad of an idea if you're just in this kind of situation. I don't know. So looking at the military population, we saw Zertan did have that slight advantage at the start, but was not really able to do that much with it. And then Recon, when we were fighting for the middle pond, he had a slightly larger army. So I'm just getting PM the civilizations. I have the civilizations for both players, which is going to be a really interesting matchup. I can already tell. Yeah, so it looks like even though Zertan got his town center later, he was not able to get a larger military count basically the entire game, except for the very start, which maybe just be a testament to the great macro of Recon. I'm not sure. So I think both players are already ready. So let's just quickly check the resources gathered. So Recon gathering about 2,000 more. He did have 3 more techs, which is also nice. He had the bigger, he had the tech lead, better armory. Yeah, Zertan never got the other one. Just going to invite the players again. And then finally, in terms of units killed, Recon just getting a lot better trades actually. Killed 30 more units, which is actually huge. Yeah, and we saw his reaction time. He's just so fast, he can just check everywhere. It's a great game. 2-0 for Recon. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get into game 3. While we listen to some Celtic music from my home city. So yeah, Optimal Acorn is asking, are there 2 best of 7s? So if Zertan wins, there's only going to be one best of 7 played, and then that would conclude the tournament. However, if Recon wins, oh fuck, I messed up the command. If Recon wins, there will be a second best of 7 played, because Recon is coming from the loser bracket, and Zertan did win the winner's bracket, and that's the advantage that the winner gets. Right, so going to game 3. We see Zertan picking Norse, so Recon already picked his Norse. And actually before the previous game, which was also on this map, Recon said that he wanted to pick Norse again, so apparently he likes Norse on this map. And apparently Zertan does so as well. But yeah, Recon already picked them, so he's going for his Greeks now. And these are just really interesting civilization choices, because normally we see Egypt picked really early because they are just in a really good position right now, really strong civilization. Many players agree on that. But no, both players saving them for later on. So I did link the brackets in the chat 2 minutes ago if you want to have a look at that. Alright, so let's take a look at what these players are doing. Looks like none of the players are going for a barracks, which is really interesting. I mean, I did not expect this from Zerton. I mean, Norse does start with 50 less wood, so it is harder to get a fast barracks out. However, it is still really good, I'd say, also on this map. But this is something we do see in like higher level games, especially in tournaments, that players like to play it a bit more safe. Because, well, if you make spears, you have to make something happen with those spears. And Zerton acknowledges Recon's ability to defend spear rushes. We saw the last spear rush by Zerton not doing that much damage. So actually Recon looks like he's going for 5 villagers on stone, which will mean that he's going for a fast town center. And I really like this play by Zerton. He scouts out Recon. Let's check his vision. He sees the stone. He says, okay, this is going to be a fast town center, so I'm just going to make a dock. Like, this is completely uncontested. He can take this middle pond. He also went H2 and is not going for stone himself right now. Let's see. He's going to make a barracks instead, sending over his melee scout back home to help build this barracks. Get it up a little bit faster. He has the 100 wood now. Is he going for a fishing boat here? He is. So the other scout for Zerton is right here. Let's remove that thing. So Recon. Going to build this town center. It's going to be right here, and the scout for Zerton is right here. Oh, actually, that's really interesting. So he did build the outpost. He scouted the town center, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he scouted the town center, and then he realized he was building the outpost inside of town center range, so he removed it. But then he placed it right next to it, and he is placing his rally point. We saw his rally point move a bit around there, which I'm not sure if you want to run them inside of town center range, the dogs that train from this. So still no stone for Zerton. He already has a scout hitting this hunting party. So this is one nice thing you can do. He's actually not doing it right now, but I'll say it anyway. You can hit your opponent's villagers with your scout, and then, well, your opponent will get the attack notification, and it will keep on pinging that you are being attacked. So at one point your opponent will stop looking, so you can send in extra actual units that will start doing damage. So maybe your opponent will not look when you're hitting him then. Right, so these dogs actually are going around to the wood line. So one nice thing about Greek villagers, which Recon should definitely utilize, is that they have an instant attack animation. He's actually not noticing this at all yet. So what he can do right now is use all these villagers and hit the dogs once, and he will one-shot the dog. Because he's not doing that right now. Just gonna move here. He lost a villager there. Meanwhile, he's building a barracks and an archery range. This storehouse is being denied. So still no stone for Zerton, so looks like we won't have a tower rush. No fast town center as well. These town centers are quite close to each other, so it will be nice to defend, but... Ooh, and actually these lynxes are helping out Recon, killing a dog. Okay, so barracks, 2 archery ranges. Still only the one barracks. Oh, and another barracks in the middle of the map for Zertan. So Zertan feels like he's kind of going all in on this. Oh, he is building a storehouse on stone right now. He's going to one base. And well, we should see Recon pulling ahead in the villager count right now. He's sitting at 30 to only 27 for Zertan, so already 3 villagers. This early on, which is surprising considering that we also have 3 fishing boats for Zertan already. So I really like this tower by Recon. So we've talked about this a little bit, Zertan playing more aggressive than ever. And Recon just having none of that. Oh, he is losing some units for free there. But this will just shut down any of those dog raids. I mean, it's hard to get a nice trade with a tower doing 25 DPS defending. So let's see if how Zertan responds to this. So he's going to have to pressure the resources of Recon. Recon does have 2 gold mines. However, they are both in front of his base, which is really good for this tower. I think this tower is just outside of the range. I think if you build a storehouse here, you can already gather from it. But this next tower that he will probably build will be inside the range. So if he is able to deny the gold for Recon, Recon will not be able to make any units. He has 5 villages on stone right now, so that makes me think that he's going for a lot of towers. Ooh, and Recon also already had a tower here. Oh, I love this tower defense by Recon. I don't underestimate the damage that this one tower is doing. It's 25 DPS, and if you look at the armor for the throwing axeman, it does not have any armor. It only has 200 health. So 8 seconds. So like if these are both hitting a throwing axeman, one dies every 4 seconds, which is just good. So we do see the Toxotis count creeping up a little bit. Ooh, Zertan going really deep into the base. In between these towers and the town center. Actually, is he overcommitting here? He's lucky that this tower is hitting the other tower. He does have a larger army, but not for long, because now Recon is taking the population hit himself. It's already up 10 population. And I feel that Zertan kind of overextended there. So he is hitting this gold mine. I think he can hit these villagers if he wants to. But he is kind of going all in on this tower rush, and it has to happen here. I mean, he has vision over the entire map. He has the middle pond, but Recon is just sitting at 48 villagers to the 39 for Zertan, so if he is able to gather resources safely, then he will be able to hold on. Ooh, so Recon not noticing this, and this dog looks like they're actually getting a villager kill. A bit sloppy by Recon there, but he's actually pushing out in the middle. He's already going to deny these 4 forward towers. He's not gonna wait for it. He's actually making some Sarasophroi as well. So they counter range units, which there are no range units. These throwing axemen count as melee units. A villager being sent over to repair, but Recon is just defending incredibly well. He's 25 pop ahead. Zertan is making a second town center right now, but yeah, villager count 55 against the 42 only. Oh my god. Yeah, so the Sarasophroi will not be able to hit any ranged units because there are no ranged units. But one thing they will do is tank the damage from these throwing axemen really well. As you can see, throwing axemen have low base DPS, but they have a multiplier against both ranged units and melee units. So they will not do a lot of damage against the Sarasophroi, as you can see. Tanking a lot of damage. And at this point I feel that Recon may be the one overextending a little bit. However, it is really in his favor to get these trades. He was not really prepared for the raiders coming. I don't think he had a single spearman before that. Some sheep at the side. So look at this base building by Recon. I don't think I've seen this many defensive towers. So right now Recon needs food, so he has been spending a lot of wood on these farms. He has like 12. He did get the farm upgrades. Let's take a look at the economic upgrades for Zerton. Did not get pickaxe yet. The one nice thing for Zerton is because he has still the entire map kind of, he can gather from food over here. And this still feels kind of risky for Recon. Recon is forced to go for... He's already going for this gold. He's pushing in again. Let's take a look how much gold he has. 1500 here. So he still has like 3500 gold in his base, but he's already pushing out with his villagers and with his army. Still up 15 population. And I think he knows he's ahead in villagers, so he wants to get these small trades because he's able to replenish his army a bit faster. So second town center did go up for Zerton, who is right now sitting at 55 villagers to the 67 for Recon. So quite a big difference. At this point Recon should probably get an armory, I would say. Get some upgrades. If this was Carnage playing, he would already have 3 armory upgrades. So he cleaned up the watch post. This is the army for Zerton. It's basically all he has. He did mixing a few spearmen. However, that's a scary force for Recon, just pushing across the map. Zerton did build a second longship because he was expecting an attack through the middle. And yeah, as we saw, longships do a lot of damage against units. Alright, so he's pushing in. Zerton is setting up the flank. These Toxotes are kind of exposed. There are reinforcements coming in here, so Recon does learn about the 11 raiders in the back. However, he's getting a nice round. How many spearmen does Recon have? He has 9 spearmen. So very nicely, this reinforcement army being picked up by a bunch of raiders. However, there are a lot of reinforcements, so the raiders can't even fight that. So a big factor here is going to be how well Recon is able to keep his Toxotes alive. He still has 14 left. He was actually aging up at the same time as doing that, which I'm not sure I agree with. So there was a watch post being built here, an outpost, but the builders had to come and defend. Ooh, Recon being a bit sloppy. He does have the population lead, but he just manages to get these really nice positions every time, protecting his bowman ball so well. He got Toxotes champion, which is almost done. Here we go. It's almost halfway done. So he's upgrading his Toxotes, and well, the Norse civilization is known to struggle a little bit against archer balls, so it's important to focus on your archers. Let's see, did he get an armory yet? He does have double armory. He queued up 2 upgrades from 1 armory, so slight mistake there. He's getting melee attack and ranged damage. Okay, I would get the other 2, but okay, it's his game. So we do see another flank coming in. But very nicely, Recon sending his spears back, and there are lots of spears in the back that will clean up these raiders. However, in the front, there's still some Sarasophroi tanking these throwing X-Men. Oh, it looks like Recon just has too much. Zerton did build his own armory, did not get any upgrades yet. And this army is just getting wiped. He's 60 population behind. And he's forced to tap out. So, wow. Really well played. Closing it out. Once again, quite a quick game, 15 minutes. This is just insane by Recon. Let me change the score. That's looking good. Change it here as well. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we're live.
So
So the stream can hear you as well.
hello everyone.
So yeah, you're probably seeing the end of the last game still, right? So kind of spoiler alert for you, I guess, but
That's fine.
that's
fine.
the downside of
And
having
that's
a
what I
delay.
expected. That's what I expected to see.
So
Really sick games by Recon so far.
yeah, it's just amazing. Actually,
Solid
let me
play.
first go to the wheel and then analyze these stats while you watch the end of the game. Right, so the next map. Oh my god, it's Coastal, yes. I love it.
It's gonna be good. So which civs are left for the players? Recon has Persia left.
Yeah,
And Egypt.
Persia, Babylon, Egypt, and Greek for certain,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a look at
Alright.
these stats.
So I'm predicting an Egypt mirror for the coastal game. Let's see though.
I think you already saw the first civilization there. Actually, you can see my screen right now, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't look, so I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Alright, so okay, everything is good. Yep. Let's take a look at these stats. Actually, yeah, what happened this game? So both players went quite for an economic start. Yeah, and then Zertan was able to sneak the dock, and he went for a one town center, all-in kind of play, I would say, which did not really work out. Extremely nice defense by the tower. What do you think about the towers, Puya?
Lovely. I think the fact that Recon was able to secure a second gold mine with his TC and then just tower up and remain patient enough until he has more units than enough units to defend. I think he was in a really good position from there on, and he just played solid, didn't make any major mistakes from that point onwards, and just continued to roll. And if you look at his resources, he was spending pretty well. Unlike the other, I mean, there's like a 1500 wood on the other side.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, his macro has
23
been really on point this game.
Yeah, I think with Norse, you generally don't really need that many on wood most of the time, because a lot of their units are food heavy rather than wood heavy.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a good feel for that. So yeah, throwing X-Men only costing 20 wood, and you're not making skirmishers that often. Like Zertan did not build an archery range at all. Yeah, so let's take a look at these stats. So we should see, yeah, Recon quite early on, like after 6 minutes already.
Yep.
Going up in the villager count.
And
Interestingly,
not really missing a beat so much on the villagers. Like even though he was under some pressure from the towers and the rush, he still kept on making those villagers. It's really good. Good crisis management by his Recon.
So Latbat asked in the chat, are the matches live? Yeah, so there is a 2-minute delay, but that's just to prevent any players from cheating. So the matches are live, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There is no other human. There is no other human in this call. Just we're about. I am just a spirit from the future.
Right, so the co-caster is someone you all know for sure. He is PF2K. He's actually a developer for Project Celeste. He doesn't need an introduction, really.
Ah, you're too kind.
Nah.
And Striker already spoiled it in the chat.
Alright, so looking at this, so we see Zertan had a much bigger army, like twice the size of Recon's. But Recon was just able to defend so well, and I think this is, like at the 8-minute mark was the part where Zertan kind of overextended and went in between 2 towers and 2 town centers.
That's exactly where the villager count of Recon goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because of the, that's where he pushed in really hard. But I think that trade that he took there was really inefficient economically. So those two town centers, H2 town centers to be exact, and the tower just firing away at the Norse units. And when you do one base, you really don't want to be throwing away so many units because the other guy has better economy than you. So if you trade units one for one, it's already bad for you as the all-in player. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's why Rico was keeping, like he kept pushing in the middle because he knew that these trades are beneficial for him. So let's take a look at the resources. Rico get it a bit over 4,000 more. And Zerton got 5
pretty
more techs as well. Oh, yeah, so what did you think about the armory choices for Recon? Did you see that?
I did not. Which ones did he get?
He started with melee attack and ranged armor.
That makes sense. Ranged, I mean, melee DPS to take down the towers as fast as possible, and then the ranged armor to take less damage from them. I think that's pretty good. I mean, generally you see Greeks taking pierce damage first.
I would say pierce damage and melee armor.
Yeah, but I mean, judging by how Zerdan was playing, I don't blame him for the choices that he made on his armory. I do blame him for queuing 3 armory upgrades, though. Could have put one on the other armory. But overall, just really solid play from Recon. And only two upgrades for Zerdan, so I'm guessing one of them is H2 and there's just one storehouse upgrade.
He just got, yeah, so that's actually really low. So we also see Recon killing a lot more units than Zerdan. Wow, this is actually almost twice the amount.
Any dogs? I'm not sure. Were there any dogs?
Yeah, there was a watch post here. And those two show up there, right?
Yeah, they
Alright,
do.
so yeah, we've been letting these players wait a bit too long. Well, not too long, but long enough for them to get ready.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a very interesting game coming up. Egypt versus Persia on Coastal. If you were to choose a civ between these two in this particular map, which one would you pick?
I really like Persia on Coastal because their galleys only cost 50 gold.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've just also because I've practiced them a lot more. I think they're like, if you have a really long water battle, you just save so much gold compared to your opponent, which I think is just yeah, it's just really good. However, they will be a little bit weaker, but I think that kind of evens out.
I mean, the damage is the same on galleys and on triremes. It's only the health. It's like 150 HP difference between the two. But galleys train faster, and as you said, they cost half the gold amount of triremes. And if you get into a extended water battle, it's better to conserve some of that gold, which happens with galleys. Also, it's like, you know, when you focus hard on the water battle and just rally villagers on a resource, and if with Persia you can just put a couple villagers on gold and just rally the rest of the villagers to wood, and it's gonna be fine if you want to make more galleys because they cost so little gold. But with triremes you need to, like, you know, peel off a couple more extra villagers from your wood line and put them to gold.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like easier to know how much you need on gold because it's just a lower amount.
It's just 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think I put 3 always. And one thing I also like about Persia is that you can get the first 2 galleys out quite quickly. So you will, if you play it, if you have a nice build or maybe a nice spawn, you will be in a 2v1 situation. So you can kind of scare away the villager from the dock of the opponent, or maybe even kill it. We get a slight advantage at the start.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are talking about water battles because, well, this is Coastal and the map almost always turns out in a water battle. I would be very surprised to see like a proxy barracks or anything. Oh wow, we can already going for gold.
I guess that's part of his build. I'm not sure.
Maybe he's doing something else.
Is there going to be some sort of super fast H3 play maybe?
Oh, okay, so he's building the dock. Certain is scouting around here. But that may be a bit early on gold. I'm not sure how familiar Recon is with water battle. Well, with this map. I know he's familiar with water battles.
He is very good at water battles. I can tell you that much.
I remember him saying that like Recon is a really humble guy. He would not brag often, but he did say that he thinks he is unbeatable on water if he plays it right. Like if he practices a bit more, he feels like he could be unbeatable on water.
That's fair.
But on the other hand, Zertan's water micro is not to be underestimated. He's really strong on water as well.
Yeah, generally any kind of micro from Zertan.
It's true.
Pretty good most of the time. So Recon already started, halfway done with his galley. But it's important to note that neither player has started researching handstall yet. So there's that.
Yeah, so Zertan
Now
does have the
Zertan
food
can-
for it. Oh, he's housed right now. Ouch. So kind of slipping up a little bit.
Yeah, but he is making his house almost done.
Yeah, that was a good 10 seconds of idle time. It's still not making a villager. Ooh, the scout is taking some shots. He's still not making a villager. Oh no.
Well, that's... Maybe it could... he's not even housed anymore, so there's not really any excuse. Oh, there it is.
It's like one villager behind already. He is sitting at 15 against 15, so maybe Recon... Oh no, it's because he can train villagers while aging. So this is exactly the one galley advantage that I was talking about. Recon is not making a galley right now himself. Oh, and the villager goes down.
Ooh, that's pretty big. That's actually a big deal. If he can save the one...
The one what?
Yeah. The one low galley, the galley that's dying. The one that's going back. Because he can repair that galley, but Zertan can't repair the trireme. Because there's no villagers there.
That's
Although
exactly
the
what
other
he's
galley is also... Yeah. Already half health, the other one.
One thing I
But
don't like
it's now 3-2.
about repairing is that it costs so much of your attention. Zertan actually sending over another villager from his hunter house. And that's one thing that's also always really hard about these water battles is when you have to transition to your next hunt, like your food's gonna run out and you will be focusing your attention on this water battle, taking a lot of APM and also building the houses, building villagers.
Recon's missing villagers now though.
Yeah,
It's worrying.
it's a kind of sloppy start by both players.
Yeah, the pressure is higher than ever.
It is. This is already match point. If Recon wins this, he wins the series, and we'll see a second best of 7.
Tonight?
Not being played right after. No.
Okay, alright.
No,
I almost had a heart attack.
do you have 5 more hours?
No, I never have 5 more hours.
Okay, so here's the food transition, going on the cows. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine, especially with the priestess empowering the cows. There's conservation on those cows, so he's good for another like 500 food or so.
And he was able to sustain villager production. Recon is kind of slipping up. Huh?
Yeah, why is that? Does he have loam already? But he does have a nice galley count, so like if you can take a decisive fight, it doesn't matter that much if you skip one villager or two. If you can like convincingly win the water, because immediately you'll get more fishing boats and can outclass your opponent. And he does have a second dock, Recon, I believe.
Yeah, he built a second dock. Okay, so Optimal Acorn in the chat says, come on, we all know Zertan not playing serious. I can assure you that Zertan is taking this very seriously. He's been practicing for the last few days for lots of hours. You should check his match against Anxiety.
Yeah, can't remember the last time I saw him play a tournament game not seriously.
Yeah.
Especially a finals series, It's the biggest money prize there is for the tournament. And both players actually not really fixing their wood lines. I just saw that
Yeah, I like this.
they're all still gathering the first storehouse.
I can just highlight like things and then you say them, so we have like synchronized thoughts.
Yeah.
Look at this micro, man. He's already 7 against 5 now.
Yeah, just what? Oh, that's. Oh my god. Okay, the galley goes down too. But as I said, the damage on these ships is the same. Like, Babylonian biremes have less health and less damage, but Persians galleys only have less health. So the damage output is the same, and every galley that you can save is really massive in these fights.
So what civilization would
there-
you prefer then if you had to pick either Persia or Egypt on coastal?
Persia, but that's not because of any balance concerns.
It's a rhetorical question, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I played Persians for national and patriotic reasons.
Some
Alright,
certain
so-
actually making a 3rd dock already. I
Yeah,
thought the
but
2nd dock was a bit late, but it's now he
I
cannot
mean-
afford constant galleys.
yeah, no gold. Like, how many does he have on gold? 7?
Yeah.
7 is not enough for triple docks, and recon starting to snowball is pretty hard. I mean, he's not making galleys now except that one from the one dock. But on the other hand, Zerdan cannot make 3 triremes at a time, and recon's starting to feel that he's gonna win the water, so he's starting to gather stone even without a storehouse there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking like Recon is slowly starting. Oh yeah, I think that does it. It's like 7 galleys, and he's queuing up fishing boats now. Already pretty sure that
Certain
he's
is not
won
giving
water.
up though. He has 2 more in queue. He's macroing his heart out with this one galley. Oh,
Yeah, he cannot out micro. I mean, it's still alive. If it has 1% HP, doesn't matter.
he's not
It's still
canceling
not
his boats.
1% damage.
I mean, he has 3 docks. He can pump out a lot of galleys. It may be
Yeah.
a mistake if these low ones die. It's 4 against 4 now.
Yeah, it's actually. I was gonna say that sometimes this kind of stubborn, how do you say it? Stubborn behavior can work if your opponent doesn't like respect it enough.
All right, so
I think. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
so even though Zertan was able to get back on water, Recon did manage to get the resource for town center, and he does have some fishing boats as well to repair his galley. So, oh, and he's just microing so well. I can't believe this. So you can actually dodge all damage from boats by just moving your ships around.
Ooh, that gets sniped. That's the thing, though. Like when you have a lot of ships, the AOE splash overlap on those ships gets to a point that it's really hard to micro out of it.
That's
As
true.
you saw with that one trireme that was trying to be fancy, but got shot and died anyway. But now Recon needs to be careful. Like he is stacking up on food more than he wants, and he's not making villagers from the second PC.
That's true. He has 14 villagers on food. Maybe these villagers. Yeah, I think no.
Oh,
A few of them went on the. Okay.
Yeah, that's just an auto distribution thing. When
Yeah,
you
they-
build a second PC.
He expected them to go on the wood, which most of them did, but some of them went on the hunt. So I guess that's kind of where this is coming from. The water battle is
Yeah.
not over.
Certainly not.
Let's get a villager count.
One thing. Yeah.
So we have 44 Recon against the 39 for Certain. So Recon
Alright.
is not making any villagers from a second town center. That's
Yeah, that's I mean, he's already ahead in the villager count, so it's not too bad for him. But he's not getting really that much value from the second TC at the moment. One thing though, that extra food. Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. Once he hits H3, ram ships are gonna be an immense help. Especially if you have some arrow ships behind them. It's almost like a land army with the Sparrow in front and Bowman in the back.
But will he
Can have
survive
that.
so long? It's 10 against 4, 9 against 4 right now. He's not making any more galleys. He's just going to rely purely on ram ships. So these ram ships are really good, and they can change the tide of a water battle.
they will. But he needs to look at his ships.
But
I
against
saw
9
his,
triremes?
Yeah, I suppose if he makes 2 at a time, and ram ships do train pretty fast. They train faster than galleys and triremes and all the other H2 units. But yeah, so there's a second TC, boys. There's like 50 million villagers gathering gold. There's the H3. No ram ships. Is he giving up on water?
Yeah, it looks like he just gave up. He's just gonna make triple stable.
Okay.
And we have a barracks going down for Zertan. And the H3 as well. He's
Temple
fixing his
offset.
wood line now. Getting some
Recon's still
economic
gathering
points. Oh,
some.
he is making some ram ships, but it may
Too
just be
late.
too little too late.
I mean, it's literally too late because the docks they're not going to survive. Well, there's one. Was
Yeah,
this
but it's
one
going
gonna
down so
get
fast.
out? Oh, the second ram ship gets out actually. That's pretty good, but yeah, I don't know.
He is committing a villager to repairing this.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Is he?
Because
No.
if Zertan is... Oh, never mind.
At
I
this
was
point,
gonna
it's just
say that-
throwing away resources, I think.
Well, the cost of a ram ship and a galley, I mean a trireme is the same, so if you just trade 1 for 1, it's not too bad, but yeah, that's the problem with ram ships though. 8 speed, melee range, so it can basically, in theory, kite a single ram ship all day, but look at the damage.
Yeah, there is some value being gained here. Oh, this one is also going down. But yeah, you don't want too many galleys after winning the water anyway. Triremes.
Oh, there's even more ram ships.
He's just
He's not
queuing
giving
them.
up. Yeah, he's like doing what Zertan did to him earlier, not giving up on water.
He is getting his 3rd town center. So we do have the 3 stables, some Asabara. No 8 tent
Yeah.
yet. Would you get 8 tent at this point?
I mean, it's basically a why not question, really.
Because it costs
Like, his
resources.
Yeah, but look at his resources. It doesn't cost any gold,
That's true.
and he's not gonna run out of wood and food anytime soon, I'd imagine.
He is down in population by a good 20. Certain actually making his town center on the water.
That can be destroyed by ram ships, by the way, if
You think so?
Recon. Yeah, if Recon ever wins.
Yeah, I remember playing one tournament game, I think the last tournament against Carnage, and I was actually hitting his town center with a ram ship on Big Island.
Yep.
I never killed it, but
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was fun. So what are these barracks
Spearman.
doing? There's 4. Oh, you got Spearman Champion, okay. You got 4 Spearmen. And there is a force of 7 Asabara crossing the map.
actually, well, if those Asabars would get sent out like maybe 20 seconds earlier, that TC would have been denied, but suppose not. Yeah, Recon is trying to rebuild his docks.
And certainly, if you look at this queue, he's actually going full water again.
Still triremes or fire ships?
Triremes.
Oh yes, triremes.
Lots
alright.
of them.
Yeah.
Does,
So,
would you
so
get
honestly,
that
he's
champion upgrade?
Asabara. I mean, it helps you kite away better. So. Yeah, but I was gonna say that almost no land units. Oh, never mind. As I say that, 50 bajillion Egyptian champion
Yeah.
against which there's. I mean, Recon has no defense. I think no archery ranges back home. Yeah,
That's
like
correct.
triple stable and nothing else. So
Yes.
if like Zertan tries to like counter push with those spearmen, it's gonna be hard.
I think these ram ships are actually getting really nice trades. Well, you could dodge a little bit of them. No, actually, they're probably not. Even though they cost the same, you should dance with them a little bit, I think. Oh, and all these Asabara are dying to the spearmen.
Yeah, but the counter push is gonna be the problem though. Like even if he makes mounted archers, I mean these ram ships are MVP here, but
Nice micro by
It's
Zertan,
weird.
kiting back with his triremes.
yeah.
He does have 8 fishing boats already. No upgrade yet.
That's what I was gonna say. That it's like I think Zertan already has taken enough value from the water.
Yeah, that's very true. He's getting trireme champion now. I like it. So this will give 15% more range and 20% movement speed. So it will actually be really nice in terms of kiting these ram ships. And also when you're defending the coast, the extra range.
Yeah, it's funny,
nice.
but I think it's literally the first time I see a ship champion upgrade being researched in a tournament game that's not Swan ship champion. And even that I think I saw like 2 times.
So,
I had a plan earlier to change the cost of the ship champion upgrades to something like a combination of wood and gold, but never really got around to that.
that's a nice idea.
Oh, these Asabars though.
There was
Yeah,
just one spearman champion here, but it's not gonna cut it, man. Where's the rest of the army? They're all the way over here. Oh, never mind. There's.
Oh my, yeah. Pay attention. The thing is though, like, look at the queues of these two players. Like, they're not getting double upgrades, triple upgrades even, or is that no? Never mind. That's the fishing upgrades. So
Yep.
On the other side, Recon doesn't really. It didn't really win the water. I think, like in this situation, like when there's like a crap ton of these arrow ships, you need a combination.
Yeah, I
of-
agree.
Ram ships and galleys.
I think in most situations a combination is good. Like if you're fighting against units, you obviously want arrow ships. I would always still mix in a few galleys. Ooh, and this fort may get denied. It is scouted by the watch post here.
It is.
Oh, and there's gonna be 18
well,
more
no.
villages.
Yeah, no. The villagers are gonna die, but that
There's
fort is
32
not.
villages here and one Asabara. Look at the range on these triremes though. Can they hit the fort? No
That's
way.
a lot of range. How much range do they have? I think it's like 29 by now.
30.
30, yeah, so I was pretty close. Oh, but yeah, this army that you just highlighted, right side, this is gonna be backbreaking.
And look at the population difference. Recon.
And the siege towers coming.
Is Recon going for H4? Look at his resources. It looks like he just maybe
And
trying to get
what-
straight to H4.
That's I mean, he can get. No, he doesn't have the stone. He's just trying to relocate his base to the other side, I think.
He's building a market here now. Maybe he's gonna buy the stone. Is he?
Yeah, but what did you make an H for? Does he plan
War
to? Like,
wagons? I don't know. Siege ships? Oh, and
yeah,
on the other
ca-
hand, already rams
Mangolini.
coming in.
Mangolini galleys can help, but
Mangolini galleys, yeah.
yeah, the Italian ships that serve in the Persian army.
Ooh, and no 8-hand yet. Look at all these villages being low HP, and there is the H4. So he is going to H4, but what will he get from this? Building some siege workshops, so it looks like it will be...
Oh, jeez, the range on those triremes. It's not like I'm not really that, but
war wagons are is what he's gonna go for, I think. Maybe some immortals would also be good. What do you think?
yep, immortals can be good, but with what resources? Like, how are you gonna max out? Like, you need to make immortal camps. You need to get war wagons. War wagons are pretty expensive on the wood side of things.
He does have
Only 100
91
gold.
villagers.
Who, Recon?
Yep, he's sitting at 86 right now, so I guess some are dying. This forge is still going on in this base. There 3 towers did go up, but he is forced to send his units
Tower
away.
is being upgraded too, actually. That's funny.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
I love
yeah.
Recon's playstyle. He's like shaking up the
Yeah,
meta
I
a little
mean-
bit.
Exactly. He told me before the series started that he doesn't really care about winning or losing, but he cares more about just trying new stuff. Like, he values that more over winning. And
Wait.
this fort is getting so much value, dude. Like,
Wait, these
all
war
those
wagons?
spearmen-
These war wagons are
Yeah.
training in 30 seconds. Did he get the upgrade for that? It's
No.
just normal.
30.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It
If
looked
he
like they
gets
were
the,
training. Oh, never mind. It just looked like they were training really fast. I thought they may have got the upgrade. Ooh, and the
Without
fort just
upgrade.
goes down. 2 war wagons will pop out just now. But is it enough?
War wagons are not exactly what you want. to deal with siege towers. Really, getting many damage.
It looks like
These
he's going
are
for the villagers.
Yes, that's like this Zergling army of Egyptian spearmen is just so much, like so much pressure. on the
You can
Persian
repair
army.
these war wagons with your villagers if you would want to.
That's yeah, and they have no minimum range, so you can people who play StarCraft that when you see like people drop Thors and repair the Thors, you can do that with war wagons. Because unlike ballistas and catapults, they don't have any minimum range. You can just, sit in the opponent's face and just kill them. And Recon is holding on, like, his economy is a mess. He has no gold, but...
And
he's
Zertan
not
has
this-
114 villagers in the meantime. He's just gonna
Okay.
keep spamming villagers. He deleted all his boats. He is going
he's
H4 himself right now. Securing the gold mine on the right side. And there is just no army for Recon.
Yeah, quite literally no army. That's the thing with Egypt and tournaments. It's hard to tell raging. Like constantly looking in their base and looking in people's bases when there's no fight or raid going on is not really something you do.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Some elephants coming now.
Holding on. Yeah, elephants are just gonna break the Persians' backs here. To be honest, really nothing to deal with the elephants here. I mean, they have bonus against buildings and siege, and that's really all Recon has right now.
Yeah, elephants are a really good choice for Zertan right here. So what do you think about dealing with all these spearmen? Do you think Recon needs something else than war wagons, or are war wagons just fine?
I guess, I mean, war wagons when they're like in low numbers, they're not really that impressive to be honest. And yeah, there's resigned from Recon. He finally recognizes the situation he's in. But back to the topic at hand. I think he could maybe make Bomit, maybe, but Immortals would certainly be good since he was going H4 anyway. It could just like get Immortals and eventually get Immortal Champion. And if you have a fight between Immortals and Spearmen in equal numbers, you're not going to be needing to replenish your army.
Alright, so let's spin the wheel for the next match. For game 5.
Mhm.
It's gonna be on Mountain Crossing.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Let's see. Yeah, so just a water battle as we are used to, but then Recon thought he had won the water, but actually these 3 ducks by Zertan were just constantly pumping out triremes, and he was able to close it out and get the water, even though Recon went H3. Ram ships were not enough, and after that, yeah, I like the mass champion Spearman.
Yeah, honestly, that point in the game where Recon started making fishing boats, even though Zertan had 3 docks, and he saw that Zertan has 3 docks. When he started making those fishing boats, I think that was the point where it started going downhill for him, really. And yeah, when you have the sea as Egypt, you have basically unlimited food, and when you have lots of food, you make spearmen.
So one thing I kind of missed is that I think Zertan had a pretty big armory lead. I'm not sure if Recon even got his armory. Maybe it was destroyed.
armory.
But
No
if you look at Zertan's armory, he has all
He
the
had all
H3 ones.
H2. Yeah.
Well, H3.
All H3 too, yeah, so 6 upgrades to 0. That's technically 8 upgrades to 0 because of the Egyptian armor tech being combined. So yeah, having an 8 upgrade advantage is pretty massive.
There's also like siege towers coming in from the right side. Really nice. So let's take a look at these stats. So during the water battle, both players keeping their villager count, villager production up quite nicely. Recon kind of slipping a little bit sometimes. And I think this was after the water battle. Well, the water battle took a long time, but this is when there was also land fighting. I think these are the fishing boats that died for Recon.
I believe so, yeah. That's exactly when Zerden starts to skyrocket ahead.
Yeah, after that he was building fishing boats himself. They both players had a town center at that point. I think Recon got his town center a bit earlier, but we don't really see.
He did, but no extra villagers if you
Marshal
remember.
the troops.
Oh yeah, he forgot.
Yep.
He forgot to make it from them. It's a pretty big oversight there.
And actually, it was doubly bad. Not only did the town center builders go to the wrong resource, he also didn't make any extra villagers from the TC, so it was pretty bad for that part. And I thought he's gonna be fine when he still had the water, but then he lost the water, so it doubled up on the badness of things. And Oranges in chat calling the Persian siege boats Mongoloid jellies. I think
Sounds
also
accurate to me.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's I
Nice.
never thought of that.
So kind of sloppy game by both players. Look at these idle villagers. There's like
Oh my
for
god.
Recon, for certain there's like
30.
30 at one point for a long time. Like an
Is it
average of 10 for the
29?
last 10 minutes. Recon also had an increasing amount of idle villagers. Let's look at the military. Yeah, at the start
Oh,
we will only see
Jesus.
boats. Yeah, this is obviously
Power
going to
of
be
Persian.
very skewed because of the one pop units.
Spearmen.
Yeah. So Zertan gathering 12k more resources. Oh, yeah, he had 9 more
Out-teched
techs.
by Egypt. Yeah, you don't want to get out-teched by Egypt, man. Because not only do they have less armory upgrades, their age up doesn't count as tech either. So if you see a number like that, yeah, you're not gonna be very happy.
And finally,
Honestly, I think the double decision by Recon to get 3 stables for an Asabar push and then deciding to go back to water with triple dock, I think that was too much of a change in game plan that that he could get away with, if you know what I mean. Like, he invested too much on those cav units,
yeah,
and
true.
then he decided to invest even more on the water. So imagine if all those Asabaras and the stables were docks and ram ships or galleys. I think he would have been at least had a much better chance at taking the water back. But anyway, I'm not complaining. Another game to watch.
Exactly.
Behold the chosen one.
Thanks for the follow, VN Power from Portugal. Mountain crossing. So let's see. Yeah, so the final statistic I was highlighting is that Zertan killed only a few more units, but overall Recon got quite bad trades, I'd say. He never
Yeah,
really got a good trade.
Those Asabaras died at the 30C.
Yeah, and also the ram
Mm.
ships. I don't think that those were really good for him.
The first couple were pretty good, but yeah, it started to get out of hand when Zertan got like 50 rather, 15 champion triremes.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, but too bad he
Trireme
deleted them all. I
champion.
think they could have done a bit more damage next to the coast. But I guess he needed the pop space.
The range. I'm thinking that, like, do you remember that the coastal sea size used to be bigger than that, right? So
Yeah.
the edges were narrower. I'm thinking that, like, before the patch where I made the sea smaller, I think champion triremes would have been able to hit everything
Yeah, that's
between the
insane.
sea and the jungle that's on the side of the map. Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah.
So in the last time that Recon and Zertan played, we saw a massive comeback from Zertan, who was down 2-0 and then was able to make it 3-2 and actually win the series. So do you think he will be able to pull it off this time and win 3 more games Like 4 games in a row?
I'm all for I'm all in for watching more games. So I would say that I wish to see more games, but then again, I'm gonna be a little biased here and say that I'm hoping Recon can win the series.
Yeah,
So, in the most ideal situation, it's gonna be 4-3. So, yeah. So we didn't really talk about the matchup yet. We're gonna have CG Recon spawning as the Red Babylonians on the right side, and CG Zerden as the Blue Greeks. Yeah, do the spin, man. Nice. Do the spin on this one too.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah,
One,
nice.
one spin.
And Recon really not going for an early barracks push here, but instead going for a Ziggurat first, with also another Ox Cart for the stone, so going super greedy. And can you check the top side of the map for a moment, please? The wood line, yeah, so here... Oh, there's a small gap here, though. So I was gonna say
Behold
that
the chosen one.
slightly favors Recon if he wants to, like, mark it at the very top. There's a natural wall helping him, but I guess those little narrow choke points...
I think he's getting the bad side of the deal here. On this other side, this looks like it's completely
Oh,
closed
gee,
off.
yeah, you're right.
Maybe a villager can fit through here.
No, I don't think so. No.
I bet you
I'm
5
99.
Gerdas.
Alright, sure.
I have enough, man. I have enough.
I have a legendary Gerda on my PC.
Oh.
What are you gonna do about that?
I need that, man.
I can only send you pictures.
I'll take it.
I cannot provide. Alright, so Zerden already H2, got his TC, and it's in a pretty ballsy location, so I think if Recon did a Spearman rush, he wouldn't have been able to get away with this, but...
I would call this Soldier TC.
No, Soldier TC would have been on the other gold mine there. No, just... Yeah, no, that one, yeah, that one. Yeah, but, I mean, that works. Soldier wannabe TC. And, so one thing though, like, building your TC like this means that you're gonna be trying to play aggressively and push, like, from your base to their base and trying to avoid any source of raiding or, you know, like, just harassment. And I think that's a decent idea. And yeah, there's the second TC by Recon in a much more defensive location, almost as defensive as it can be. But already 2 gardens, I like that. But he's not gathering any stone. I suppose it's gonna. I mean gold. He's gonna gather from the gold mine there once he's done. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 4 villagers on gold. No military building yet, though. Interestingly, no one going for the middle pond, which is really surprising to me, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
I've talked about this before when I practiced with Recon a bit. We actually played this map like a few months ago to see what is the best strategy. Is it like making a barracks early and then taking the middle pond with your spear pressure, or just sending a villager instantly? And we actually found that just sending a villager as soon as possible to build a dock and then building a fishing boat is actually better to win the middle pond. And we actually saw Recon do that against Carnage. I think he did that, and it worked. But this time, no one going for it.
Yeah, does Zerton even have a dock on his side? Like,
No.
yeah, I was gonna say that neither player has any docks on their own side, but Recon just started, and he's going full greed, by the way. Like, Zerton already started making his 3rd military building, but Recon, no. TC first, then 4 gardens, then a dock before any military buildings.
Oh, and Zerton knows.
Exactly.
He knows about everything. Actually, he didn't scout the dock.
No, he doesn't, but he knows about the gardens. Okay. Let me get caught up in the chat.
You gotta make this chief sound when you do that, man. Whatever he does with his mouth when he is getting caught up in the chat. Okay, so we see barracks and archery range now by Recon. Let's see, what did he scout? He does know about the town center. He does not know about the barracks in the back, but he did scout the archery range in the stable. So Zerton going for that 1-1-1. He already has a small force here. Not too many units.
Yeah, so how would you play Greek versus Babylon? Curious in your opinion.
Oh, that's a tough one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bit more aggressive than
probably the least played matchup in the game, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. This matchup has not been played very often. At least as Greek, you can go for the 1-1-1, and you know that it will do okay.
Yeah. Greek never. Oh, is that a tower?
That is a tower.
The 2 towers, and then the return of the king after.
So which one is the king? It hasn't returned yet.
Look at the top of the ziggurat. I
think the king will stand on top of this.
Sure. Too bad he doesn't have the El Gordo set up for his units with the tomato
huge
shields.
oversight here with no tomato shields.
I think Zerton could have gotten that garden, by the way, at the front, because gardens have so little health that you can instantly snipe them. And every garden that you snipe is the most expensive garden for your opponent. So, you know, when you start making gardens, they start cheap, and they get more expensive as you build more. But on the flip side, when you attack gardens, it doesn't matter which one you kill, it's always going to be the most expensive garden.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't show up for observers, so we still see a 50-50 garden cost. But this is actually the very first garden that you built, which will cost 50-50.
90-90, it's actually a 90-90.
Yeah, and then it does go up by 10?
Every
10?
time.
Okay.
Yep.
So he is,
this
kind of exposed garden. I'm not sure if I like this position, building them kind of in front of his base, and this one also is very exposed. So we will have to spend.
I'd like to look at Zerton's base right now. Does he have any upgrades going for him? Any armory?
He's making double archery range.
Armory.
Oh, he actually made another stable. Looks like he's going for a lot of H2. His scout has been going around the middle pond a lot as well. But neither player going for it. He doesn't have a duck on his own pond yet as well.
I think Recon is fine here, honestly. Like, he is going H3 now, and does he have any sort of stable? No, only barracks and archery range. Okay.
So do you think he should make a stable?
No, I think he's more than fine just making racks and archery range units. I mean, look at Zerton's army. It's Saris and Talks mostly, and those shield bearers, they laugh at all that pierce damage on the Greek army.
So Zerton did spot Recon's army being a bit out of position there, and he is able to push in, kill. I think these 2 villagers are going down. 1 garden goes down. These spearmen are going balls deep into the base of Recon. Yes.
Are these spearmen champions? Yeah, they are.
They
have some extra pierce armor. But now Recon is H3. Zerton doesn't look like he's anytime soon.
This is exactly what I was expecting. He's going to build siege towers, which is going to be just great. Oh, and especially against Greek.
Especially against H2 Greeks.
Yeah, that's.
And look at the army of Zerton. It has nothing to kill the siege towers.
Look at his Q, by the way. Every resource is below 100 for a while there. That's insane micro there.
Yeah, very nice resource micro, otherwise known as macro.
Did I say micro?
Yeah.
Look at that micro. The villagers.
Those hands. Oh, speaking of villager hands, did you check their economic upgrade?
Yeah, they have about the same. All H2. Oh, Zerton is actually getting pierce armor right now. Pierce attack. Okay. Just the H2 golds, pickaxe and handsaw. For both players.
Those siege towers are going to be a pain because they have 2 splash.
Yeah, it's insane. We did see a game between Eerie and Recon on this map as well, where they both played Babylon, and Recon went for the siege towers. And I think Zertan is just gonna force an engagement here.
I don't like this. As soon as Recon puts, yeah, there you go. Like
7 slingers go inside.
Babylon can happily defend like with gardens, H3, and all these towers and TCs shooting at the army. I think if you just like trade one for one, like look at this siege tower, it's taking the Greek forever to kill it. And once it dies, then a couple of slingers pop out which can also kill those custodians.
They should hop into the next one, I think. There are some shield bearers on the bottom.
Yeah, shield bearers can be outside of the siege towers too, to be honest, because like if the Greek army is attacking shield bearers with anything basically other than Hippaspis or like Hippicons or something, you're better off not attacking, really, especially shield bearer champions, which I'm not sure Recon has. Does he have shield bearer champion? Oh, there's almost H3 by Zertan though. Yeah, okay, no shield bearer champion. But still 70% pierce armor is pretty good, right? And now
Yeah,
it's
it's
making
insane.
Armory.
And this army
How
is
many
crossing the map.
armories does Recon have?
I don't think I saw any.
Oh, okay, that's a barracks. He has 2 armories.
Oh,
stocked.
you're right. You're very right.
Yeah.
He's just getting
For a
his
moment,
first
I thought
upgrades.
he's making a 3rd armory. I was like, what? Yeah, alright. So, he is starting to run out of gold, though, so that's a concern. I guess he does have a 2nd gold, like in the soldier TC spot. But,
Oh, this one, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
some hero villagers at the end of their life, still getting some gold, working for the Babylonian
Serving
dictator.
the Babylonian Empire with my last breath. Can you
also
check the ziggurat? I need to know if Recon has any of.
Wait, where is it? Oh, yeah.
None of the ziggurat text. That's a big oversight.
So which ones
especially-
would you get in this position?
I would get all of them except the Iron Wheels tech. But he is getting his other upgrades though, so he's pretty good on that side.
Yeah, his 3rd and 4th
what-
army upgrades going up, and Zertan on the other hand has
Hop
3
lights.
army upgrades. 2 army upgrades. He just has pierce attack and pierce damage. And yeah, he's making
Yeah.
hoplites. He also has
Yeah,
some patrols.
I wonder if Recon will switch to Royal Guards.
Oh, that
when
would
he
be so good to
sees-
see.
Sees those hoplites. Because hoplites are pretty good, like they have a lot of health and they have a lot of pierce armor, and I mean there's really not much in Recon's army that directly kills them. I suppose like with the support of the siege towers and the spearmen he can do some damage, but no hard counters to hoplites yet. Nice walls though, by the way.
Yeah, I'm really liking this by both players. Just I like Zertan walling in his opponent. On the top side, it didn't quite materialize the wall because there's now a fort there. But on the bottom
Something
side,
else to know. Yes, sure. Sorry. Go ahead.
he has him completely walled in. Still nothing on the middle pond though. But Recon is pushing in actually. How many hoplites do we
That
have?
army is deceptively small, but
10
all of
hoplites.
those siege towers are all full of units. Like, look at that. Yeah. So if he just right clicks on the Tuxotes ball with his siege towers, that's a lot of.
And he does
I
it.
think it, okay, nice, but he is splitting. Oh my God, those villagers! What are they doing? Fort?
Working
have
for the
enough
Babylon Empire with the last prep.
Yeah, King Nebuchadnezzar, take my energy.
Here in the chat says, nice macro micro versus Zertan. I agree, I think.
That push, by the way, from Recon. Oh, there's the other part of Zerg's army, but what did they kill? What did these Saris kill? Like, those shield bearers are basically laughing at an army.
They are hitting the slingers, I think. Oh, and this town center is
he
taking
does
a lot
have
of damage.
Slinger champion. They'll also laugh at Saris.
Oh, they do. He does have Stinger champion.
Bonus damage immunity. So you just need the raw DPS against these guys, not counter units. And yeah, Okay, those markets are kind of questionable. I would put them at the very top, but it's working so. And yeah, Recon is just playing so solid, man. I'm really impressed by his play this series.
Yeah, me
Making
too. It's
very
been
few
insane. It's
mistakes,
been absolutely
and
insane.
and he's just so like refreshing and off meta. All of these strategies that he.
He sees the
Yeah,
fort.
this
He's
is-
just going in. He's gonna deny the fort, I think.
He can right click on the fort.
He's
Even
30
if it goes
population
up.
ahead.
Even if it goes up, it's gonna be like, yeah, never mind.
The siege towers are loaded again, but they are kind of busy. I think he attack moved them and they went on the...
Honestly, man, I think at this point, it doesn't matter if all of that army of recon just gets wasted. He is
Shoot!
destroying so many of Zerdan's infrastructure with those siege towers.
He is.
Yeah.
These hoplites are doing their best to tank, but...
Tanking, yes, but where's the damage? I think he could have used some Prodromos maybe for some more melee damage
have
because
some Prodromos in there.
Prodromos do have a lot of raw DPS, and they do have some pierce armor now, so those siege towers are less efficient against them. But
So this gold
more
mine is being
siege
denied.
workshops. Yeah.
Where
but
is the gold
Zerdan's
for
season
Zerdan?
two.
He currently has 17
What?
villages on gold still.
Bottom.
It's
Oh
all-
yeah, there it is.
This gold mine
Holy
has
shit.
1800 left. Okay, so this is the last gold mine.
There's one. Oh, there's a GG.
Oh, wow.
Excellently played by Recon. I'm super impressed. Like, when was the last time you saw somebody play Babylon like this?
Well, I saw Recon play Babylon like this against Erie, so I
Yeah,
kind of knew that
nice.
siege towers were coming when he was going for a fast H3. But this was just a really well thought out strategy. You saw he had a plan from the start. He wanted to go defend his base, get some gardens, and then just go to H3, get those siege workshops, and then start being more aggressive and going out on the map.
This just shows that he knew exactly what his opponent was able to do and not be able to do here, because the one weak Greek H2 army is killing buildings. Like, you can kill a crap ton of units with the H2 Greek army, probably better than any other civ in H2. But the one thing you can't do is kill the buildings of your opponent with your army, because it's mainly pierce damage. So what Recon did was he just turtled up in his base and getting some defensive towers. Something that he knew that Zertan cannot kill without having like horribly inefficient trades. And he just got to age 3, started getting cheap units with upgrades. And those siege towers, and he just microed well and macroed well and macroed well, or was that macro?
I think it's macro. No, it's macro.
Macro, yeah. So he just out everything here, and he won 4-1.
Yeah, so Recon winning the series, which does mean that we will see another best of 7 being played for the tournament. So both players will start out fresh, and that series will not happen now. It will have to be scheduled, so it will probably take like another week or something.
Yes, scheduling.
Yeah, scheduling is always tricky.
Forehead.
Always tricky.
Yeah.
So maybe same time next week or something.
Yeah, sounds good. I would actually like to join earlier in the co-casting. It's really fun.
Sure.
But we'll see. We'll see. If Troller is around, he can take my spot, and I can just watch in peace and quiet. But either way, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. But before we go, let's look at the stats. I like to see the text number here. Oh wow, it's actually surprisingly close.
Yeah,
I
so
was
the
expecting.
text that Zertan got, he got Toxotis champion. He got the H. He got the H3 economic upgrades. He did build an academy, but did not make anything from it. Got Sarah Sophroid champion. Oh, I'm not sure about
Okay.
that.
Yeah, doesn't seem very useful. By the way, you might want to check the chat since it was the last game of the series. But yeah, did Recon get a? Oh, never mind. Babylonians don't have the caravan speed upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, so let's take a look at these stats. So yeah, we saw Recon building his gardens early, so that means he can his units will train a lot faster, and it includes his villagers, which now train at 12 seconds, but he does have all the 8 gardens up right now. So we see him pulling ahead in the villager count, and he was like constantly like 5 villagers ahead, I think.
Yeah,
Up until the 11th
that's
minute
a little
mark.
deceptive
Yeah, that's
because
true.
of the ox carts, but yeah.
So slightly ahead in villagers. And he also got his ducks, so that helps in that regard. Losing a few villagers to the push by Zertan, I think.
Yeah, that was like the when I said that Recon can happily, like, yeah, like just a slight. Just look at the slingers, those 2 slingers at the top of your screen. Yeah, there. When Zertan attacked there, yeah.
These ones?
There were a couple of villagers there gathering wood, and they all died to the Greek army. But yeah, so that was the point where the villager graph fell down a little bit. But Recon did a really nice job of just gradually retaking the map, because there was a point where Zertan had him walled off, but Recon pushed and took map control back and started doing the opposite, and he walled Zertan off his gold top. Like, look at the gold mine that's right next to these guys. If you, there's a gold mine there next to a fort, and it's walled off. And you know, it's such a hassle to deal with walls as Greeks, especially, and especially if you don't have melee units. Like these 2 layers of walls at the bottom there. Zertan tried attacking it, but he had like 8 series, and it took them like 3 minutes to chop off 10% of the health of that wall. And then Recon just sent a single villager and repaired it all back in 2 seconds.
So you said that Recon was like into trying new things, right? So would that include like this little party in the woods? What's going on here with the deer?
Anything morally acceptable, I'd imagine.
I'm not sure. They are working for the...
that's one villager is like almost dead. Maybe they took the deer there to channel the life force of the poor animals into the villager.
Sense. I think it were the villagers from the gold mine that went across the middle of the map we saw earlier.
Those were the Babylonian Empire's most faithful servants, gathering gold with their last breath, making that fortress, making that siege workshop, walling off. And that deer there is just Babylonians trying to be cool like us Persians, but they have no 8/10.
That's true. Can't heal.
Can't heal. They have to make a priest.
So no ziggurat attacks for Recon.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where all these attacks are coming from for Zertan. Actually, you only got 3 armory upgrades. You got a bunch of champion upgrades.
16 techs is not too much.
Oh yeah, it's only 15. Oh, you're right.
It's disappointingly no for Recon more than anything, really. Like cultivation, he has 8 gardens. If he had the cultivation tech, it would be like another 8 gardens and food income.
This pays for itself in like a few minutes, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I don't really need to tell you how good pharmacology is. So just having, it's basically reducing the entire enemy army's DPS by 1 every single unit for the rest of the game, as long as you're equal in armor upgrades. Basically every unit in your opponent's army does 1 less damage, the DPS rather. And also the other tech with the conservation, I guess he doesn't really need it that much on this map, because really the food is covered by the fish and the gardens, and you don't really want berries on Mountain Crossing. And there's more than enough here.
It looks like he plays like a garden on top of his berry bush here.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, yo dog, I heard you like gardens, so we make gardens on top of your garden.
Okay, so let's take a look at these stats a bit further. So, lots of idle villagers for both players actually. So yeah, it's constantly fighting. It's really hard to keep tabs on everything that's happening at the same time. So kind of slipping a bit there. But the macro from Zertan is just really impressive. Look at this. His food's constantly under 300. Wood a little bit more, but at the end the gold was kind of getting out of hand, I guess.
That was because he had 50 million villagers on. I think if look at that.
What the hell?
That's like the the gold rush days in America when they had every gathering gold.
It's a K-corner situation here.
He could even like make a second storehouse, to be honest, to
Yeah.
be more efficient with the gold mine.
Things would be better if some would drop off on this one, but alright, so yeah. So Recon out
think
gathering
that does
Zertan by about 2k. Sorry, what's that?
I was gonna say that does it for tonight's stream, but if you have more to talk about, sure.
Yeah, I have a bit
I
more
mean,
to
at
talk
the
about.
very end, sure, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just finishing up first on these stats. So Recon killing about 50 more units.
Yep.
And that's including the cavalry units by Zertan. And yeah, I guess he had some siege towers itself, but overall we can conclude from that Recon got some really nice trades.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Slinger Champion upgrade that was really good. Because Slingers, although they have some Pierce armor, Saris do still kill them pretty hard, especially Slingers from the Babylonians, because their HP is not really that high. It's only 90, I believe. But once you get that Slinger Champion upgrade, then suddenly those Saris get their DPS reduced by about how much? It's like 2/7 of their regular DPS. You know, they have a 3.5 multiplier.
Yeah.
And it all goes down. So it's like, how much would that be? 2/7 is like goes down by like 60% or 70% something. Too tired to do the exact math.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure how much 5/7 is as well, but whatever. It's a lot of DPS so Slinger Champion makes them immune to bonus damage. So any unit that would do bonus damage to ranged units will no longer deal that bonus damage to the
Yeah, like
Slinger
honestly,
Champion.
at this point, Prodromos are better than Saris.
We saw
does
Zertan
he have-
not making any more Sari as well. He had the right units, just not.
Not enough, not in
Not
time.
enough.
Does he have Shield Bearer Champion too?
No.
He doesn't. Well, I mean, I guess it's not that big of a deal because they already have enough shield.
Yeah.
I mean, Pierce armor, but they do go up to 80%. So they're basically like a walking fortress when it comes to tanking Pierce damage. But still, very excellently played games by Recon. I was really impressed by every game that he played. I hope we see more super exciting games.
Yeah, the next series
Um,
is bound to be
yeah.
an exciting one.
Yeah.
And also, these games were all pretty fast. Normally, we've seen really long games, but
Yeah, no slugfests.
played the
That's
best
what
of
you
7 in less than
usually-
2 hours.
Yeah, you would usually expect Recon's games to drag out a little longer, but not these games.
Because he built towers in his base.
That must be the
Yeah.
secret.
Okay, so before we end the stream, I just want to say, let's quickly go here. Yeah. So the end score was 4-1. There is no game 5. But yeah, I would just like to thank the people that make this tournament possible. Which were, for this tournament, mostly Lambda Viking and Radder. So Lambda, he participated himself, but he donated $200. So we do have a $450 prize pool, and it's just not possible without them. And we already have quite a lot of donations for the next tournament, which will probably be in a few months from now. So yeah, I've just put them on the screen right here right now, so these guys can get a little bit of credit. So thanks to all the guys on the screen. Rather, watch this on YouTube. Sexy Henry 94 gives you anxiety, and Eerie himself, totaling up to already $169.
Yeah. These guys are the real MVPs here.
For sure.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining the stream. I hope you enjoyed the casting. I tried my best. If you saw any shortcomings by me, please forgive me beforehand. And I'll be around, so Take care. Take care, Wout.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
GG's.
I guess I'll stay until you take down the stream. No.
No, it's don't think it works like that.